Nigel and
Oh, hi there. Today is an exciting day
Nigel
because
Anderson.
we have our friend Hender, little link in the top chat over there, who we met in Orlando. I rarely get to meet my clients, let's be honest. Everything's done on the line these days, but Hender is one of the rare individuals who I was able to shake hands with when we had our Laundromat meet and greet in Orlando. I've been doing a few more of those things lately. So I was able to sit down with him. Link is in the top chat. Don't go there now, but we were able to sit for over an hour, have some cocktails, got to know the gentleman. He really toes my line, and I can't tell you how much
Nigel
I
Anderson
appreciate
or
that.
Trap Call.
Okay, we're getting, gotta love live video where people are going to endlessly call me. That's welcome to my world. Hender's a hell of a guy. I don't look for anyone to toe the line or tell everyone how wonderful I am. At the end of the day, I put my head down and I do work. So, as the thumbnail shows, we did the work. And Hender does the preponderance of it. If you're here because you want to see me scream and yell at people, well, that's not my daily. That happens rarely, to be honest. I built my empire of laundromats making all of the mistakes over 20 years ago that a newbie would. Listening to the industry people tell me, well, this is how it works and this is how many turns per day. We're going to get to Hender. We're going to call him live here in a minute. He got his free laundromat and has some questions. I'm the kind of guy that jumps into things head first, does things without a net, and also I'm a realist, so I want to break my arm patting myself on the back. That is what makes me perfect to teach and train and mentor others. I'm 52 years old at the time of this live. And I remember the infomercials on late night TV, whether it's selling pots and pans or trying to talk you into some real estate bullshit. What if I give this person my phone number? Then what? I'm on a list. Today it's a mailing list with your email. Everyone's afraid to give it out. I don't do that. You're interested in getting into laundromats and doing it right? I field emails almost daily from people that I answer almost immediately. I have the tools. I have an iPhone. Hey, I just want to talk to you for 10 minutes, Danny. Okay, fantastic. I'm about to buy a laundromat here in central Colorado. I just have a couple of questions. Please, sir, please get my silly course. Understand what you're getting yourself into before you take another step. No, I just need 10 minutes. I've looked a lot of information. I don't need a course. Bro, I'm not trying to zap you for a few $100. I just want you to understand you don't know shit. You don't know what you're about to do. And if you've listened to others, if you did what I did, and that drumbeat is in your head that buying a laundromat is going to equal 7 turns per day and you're going to make $100,000 a week, just gather all of the knowledge that you can, and please allow it to include what I've been screaming from the mountaintops. Because now here I am, I've got some gray hair, I'm an older guy, I'm not selling DVDs anymore, I'm selling a streaming course, but really I ain't selling shit. Never know where we're gonna go with these lives, and I'm getting a call and a text from another client who's going for store number 5 in Los Angeles. I have minted multi-millionaires just by doing a small thing, by providing a small service. I'm not taking the credit for it. You, like Hender, will do the preponderance of the heavy lifting. I'm just a tool. But if you don't know what to say when you call these landlords, for the love of God, don't try it on your own. Let's see if and or what Hender has to say. Little dialing music, Paul. Have you guys subbed? Now's your chance to subscribe to the channel. That's the only time I ask when we're doing this. I bet he's going to say, Danny D. Love me some Hender.
Danny D.
All right, what's the landlord like in real life?
He's really nice. He's an older, Oriental guy. Very nice. Getting his son into the kind of handing it over to his son. He brought his son there, and he's like, "Look, I'm trying to hand it over my son so he can help me with the management." And the son is also very nice.
Very cool. So you got to meet your future landlord and your previous landlord. That's pretty neat that he thought enough of you to introduce you. How many buildings does he own?
He owned a couple of them. I don't know exactly how many. He was an accountant, and you retire anytime soon? Oh no, I retired a long time ago. I'm just managing the properties. He's in New Jersey, and he has properties in New York, several buildings. He knows that I'm a martial artist. He's like, oh, if you're interested, I have a building with a martial arts school that the guy is trying to move, so let me know.
That's why you did the fist pose, I assume, when you guys took the picture.
Right.
I thought that was referencing the battle for a good lease, but I figured maybe it was like the Rocky Balboa thing.
Martial arts type of thing.
Love it. Good. Beating down landlords has a whole nother connotation. All right, so you've got questions, I've got answers. What are we doing?
So first we are he's looking forward for the HVAC unit. We're trying to put a split. I got a couple of guys, AC guys going there and taking a look. They're all leaning towards putting a split unit.
Yeah, that's a big thing in Europe, and it works really well. I just put one in my garage, of all things. So it's 120 degrees out, and it's 74 in my garage. It's nice when you're working in there. And it's great because you can, flip them off. They, unlike the old heavy tonnage units, they needed to run all night. You can, before you go 24/7, you can shut them off when you're not there.
Yeah. So the guys are suggesting a 3 tons unit. The guy says about 6,000. He's like, look, you should start with 3. Maybe you need 4, but 3 definitely you should start with 3 and see if you need the 4th one.
So I don't know if you're asking me, but what you need to explain to the HVAC guy is in laundromats, it's very different. And you may have heard me say this before, but I'll repeat it. The job of air conditioning is not only to cool the air, which we all see and feel, but also to remove moisture. And the byproduct of a laundromat is tons of moisture because all of the washing machines create it. No matter whether you have a closed drain system or a trough, there's going to be tons of moisture. At home you have that little teat that goes outside the wall and it drips in the summer when the air's going. That's the unit removing the moisture from the residential space. And the other job is obviously cooling the air. And what is a byproduct of a laundry? Well, we've got tons of heaters running in the form of the dryers, the tumblers inside the space. And so it makes it really hard. And we have a phenomenal argument because when you meet with the HVAC guys and the landlord's paying for it, you say, look, dude, you might go by square footage. You might go by this area in New York or how close we are to the wharf. But we need heavy tonnage. And if they're really good and they can figure out what the math is, they're going to understand that you have a lot of evil byproducts in a laundromat. So you need heavy tonnage.
Got it. So Roger, that's what I'll bring up to those guys.
And
so,
honestly, I don't know that formula. Maybe I should, but I don't. because every time we deal with HVAC, they're going to come out, they're going to give you a quote, and let's say the average 2,000 square foot space needs a 2-ton unit or a 5-ton unit, and there's a price for that. To go from 5 to 10 is not double the price. It doesn't work that way because they're handling the electrical upgrades on the panel and everything else. And with split units, it's cheaper. So to go a few tons higher, all you need to do is let them know, hey, we've got tons of moisture, tons of heat in this space, especially when it's rocking.
Yeah, the guy said, and actually the last guy, which I really like the more, it's a bigger company. He said, look, for every 10 people, it's 1 ton of usage. So 1,200 BTU. He said for 1,200 plus a 10 feet ceiling, you need at least 4. So that's what I'm saying 4, 20 people, that's 6. And for you to be safe because it's a laundromat, maybe the 9. That's kind of what
he was able to bring up the fact that it's a laundromat. He understood the difference.
Correct. So he said, because the space alone, he said the space alone, needs 4 tons.
Okay.
That is the space alone. Now you have, let's say 20 people. So for every 10 people is 1 ton. So now you have to 6. And then he says, then you have the dryers, the dryers will be another, 2, and then 1 more for the wash. So, at least 9, he said at least 9, but to be safe, 12. But he thought that I was kind of paying for it. He's like, look, I don't want you to spend your money in 4 right out of the gate.
You're
you know what I mean? He's like, do 3 for now.
Check. It's not my money.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but you know what I mean? He's like, he was trying to be like conservative, saying, look, get 3 for now. If you need the other one, we'll put the other one later. But I guess I will go with the 4 one right out of the gate.
Yeah, especially since it's on the landlord, as kind as he may be. We don't want to have to come back to him hat in hand in the future. So I would just go for the proper terms. Very good to hear that the guy came up with it on his own. So that's good.
Correct. And the guy understand the formula, so kind of educate me on that. So that was nice. And he kind of negotiated against himself, going with the 3 instead of the 4. So I kind of like that too. Yeah, whether that is in a strategy or selling a strategy, whatever it is, it worked.
People get choked up. It's funny. I do this, I don't need to do this to make a living, but I do this for a living. And when it comes to personal stuff, I'm buying an RV right now, a trailer, because we just bought some acreage and we're going to be building a home, but I want to have a base of operations, and it's 7,400 foot above sea level. It's up in the pine trees. It snows there. Anyway, found the perfect RV. Shelly's in love with it. I'm telling her, you don't do that. I'm hearing myself reiterate everything I talk about to clients. Don't fall. But this thing is a 2019 that they bought in 2020, and that's ideal because, of course, it's really not a 2020. It's a 2019, and it's been kept in a garage. The guy shows me pictures of his garage. It's perfect. They've upgraded everything. They used it 5 times, and I found it on Craigslist. He wants $41,000. Doesn't really matter what it's worth, but he's nuts. And then I found, by looking at it by brand, I found that they listed it 30 days ago for $44,000. So this guy's screwed, and he doesn't know who I am. And I call him up. I'm like, look, man, I'm a $100 bill guy. I'm not going to write you a check. It's real money, and I know I'm just on the phone, but this thing books out for X, and I need to hear what your best offers. I know it's immaculate. I'm hearing you say that. And then it's the whole shut my mouth. I just said, tell me what you want to do. And he's like, this long pause. I don't need the money. It's all the things that everybody always says when they negotiate. And he has no idea who I am and how much of this that I do. And I'm just, okay, I'll let him talk. And he rambled. And he's like, well, I do. No prices have been mentioned yet, right? He says, well, I do have a generator, and that cost me $3,000. He's just talking. And that's not included in this. I mean, I could throw that in. I'm like, still quiet, still saying nothing, still waiting for him to come up with a price. And he says, well, you're going to have to tell me. And then it's like, no, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to give you. No. So I said, look, we're on the phone, and this thing's like 2 hours from me, and that's part of it. And I didn't even bring it up. I said, we'll come see you tomorrow, and I'll bring some money with me, but I want that generator. Okay, he says, all right. And then he texts me 35,000. So now I'm not going to give him 35 grand, but it's just the game, the game. And I love it. Most people hate it. And 99%, this guy hates it. This guy doesn't want to do this. He's upset that he never used the thing and abused it, and he doesn't want to sell it. And he doesn't want Danny D'Angelo calling him. And I'm not robbing the guy. I'm going to give him a fair price, but I'm over here grinning ear to ear like, all right, this is fun. Anyway, so the HVAC is decided. Sounds like you found a good guy. And it's kind of you to make sure you get the best deal, even though it's on the landlord. Next question.
The machine size. We can fit about 18 machines in there. So I was wondering on the sizes of it, given the little business that I have. So I was thinking kind of 280, 260s. I'm not sure.
You're unique and different, and you might not like this answer, but I'm going to let you bring all the distributors in. That's the next step. That's the what now.
Yes.
You bring all these knuckleheads in. It's going to be hilarious to watch them tell you that they want, $4,000 per pound of wash capacity, what you should do, how since you're in New York, you should stack the machines 3 high and not leave any room for folding. But Hender, you're unique and different because you already understand what it's like to run a wash dry fold business. So you probably need to be heavier on the tonnage. And I hope you're not thinking of using the back room or having your own private push button machines or anything like that.
As a matter of fact, it's so funny you said that because one of the distributors already suggested that, like, divide it in half and you do you share it in the back. And I said, dude, this place is as small as it is. I'm going to make it smaller.
Why? I mean, you have to wonder why they even open their yap. Like now you're looking at the guy with a grain of salt. Like, really, dude, really. So in probably my 10th or 11th store, I hire a contract attendant, and I've got it all standardized by this point, right? And she was probably 40, 50-year-old gal. That's a big difference, but it was hard to tell. And I had aprons made professionally, had the name of the store on them, and they all said, ask me about drop-off in big letters, because they didn't want to wear an apron with their name on it or the company logo. They want to wear an apron that's going to make them money. Everything you do, you give these contract attendants the impetus to do what you want them to do and to help themselves. So give her the apron, give her the whole spiel, talk to her about everything. And I come back the next day, and she had somehow wedged one of the folding tables into the office. I mean, she must have had help. She must have, it's like, how did you possibly pivot? Like, how did you get that giant folding table into the office through the Dutch door? Well, she did. And I show up and she's sitting there reading a newspaper, no apron. Customers are in the lobby. And of course, we had to have a chat. And I said, let me help you move the table. That's not the way this works. She lasted about another 2 days. But explaining to her, you use the customer space. You utilize that area, and it's symbiotic. When someone walks in and they want to use the laundromat, they've got $20 bills in their pocket and one $20 bill in their pocket. They look around, never been here before. Do I trust that change machine, even though it's brand new and stainless steel and it's in the back of the store? It's well lit. There's a convex mirror on it. Do I trust it? No. Oh, but there's a person wearing an apron. Now I'll put 20 in. When you have a contract attendant or a human being or a warm body in the store, watch the dollar bills climb to $20 bills. So anyway, it's a physical byproduct of having a human person in there, no matter how nuts they may be. Sitting in the back room, no apron, I explained, you need to be in the customer space, doing busy work, cleaning up. The store was dirty. You won't see what happens back there, and you won't do business. And I would explain to them, anybody that walks in the store is a potential customer for you, not for me. She understands she doesn't make money if she doesn't take in wash, dry, fold. So I would give them the spiel. Now, most people paying employees, they're triple dipping anyway, and they're stealing from you, and they're not writing tickets, and they're getting paid in that way. Anyway, I digress. So good for you for understanding. This guy says split the store in half and have private machines. I've seen so many different methods to try to have your wash dry fold separate. I've seen them spray paint green quarters, so only the attendant uses those for their machine. So you can come in and scoop them up as the operator and go, oh, okay, you spent your $100 on these green quarters and you give them back. All they do is give change for the green quarters and keep the money. Anyway, good for you. You figured that out. Yeah, I think you need heavier machinery, I should say heavier tonnage in both the HVAC and the equipment, because you're going to have that facade now and you're going to be able to grow your wash dry fold. And, you know, I assume that's the goal as well.
So in other words, you will suggest, try to go heavier, like 280, 260, couple 40s, and maybe a couple 30s, like stay away from the 20s in a way.
I wouldn't do any 30s. I wouldn't do any high efficiency machines. There's no such thing as high efficiency. Look, there's no research and development being done by Hips, Speed Queen, Wascomat, American Dryer, Dexter, Whirlpool's gone. None of these people are doing this. There's nobody in white lab coats trying to figure out the problem because they don't think the problem exists. There are guys over at Musk headquarters trying to figure out how to fit a button battery in your pocket and also power the universe. That's happening because they see the problem, they want to fix the problem. But in our industry, I'm sad to say, no one's working on it. If you could do a load of wash with a half a gallon of water, hallelujah, but they're not working on it. It's the same copper wound motors and the same rubber hoses in these machines. So bigger machines, better, especially for you because you've already got that business running.
So the smaller I should go is the 40. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Customers will love you for it. Look, they're going to come in. We know the store's on the smaller side of profit. So imagine if you had 10 top loaders in there to exaggerate the problem, right? Which doesn't exist. If you had 10 top loaders, they wouldn't be used at all. They'd start using them for folding, and that would be a complete waste. Watch the distributors that come in and see if any of them offer, you might have some Hispanic populace that wants to come in here and only wants to spend $450 on a wash. No. Let them give you their pricing, and then that's determination one.
Right, I understand. And also because, like you said before, we are unique in terms of what we want to accomplish with that. A small location is to unload the business that I already have, mainly. And then whatever comes after that, then it is what it is.
And, you're going to, at first, especially once you do the retool, you're going to be in there running your business whenever you want. When the consumers start to knock your door down, you're probably going to switch hours, get some people in there working from midnight till 4 or 6 a.m. so that you can deal with the consumer, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, no, it does. It does, absolutely. So we got that bigger, the better. Or bigger is always better. Huh.
That's what I hear.
Oh, not getting to that now. Okay.
Did you write
does
notes?
That apply the
same? Did you write down notes?
You mean right now?
I hear you shuffling papers. I just think it's cute.
No, you told me well. Of course I was taking notes. I got jailed by you many times to take notes. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. On the same things apply. It might sound like a silly question, but the same apply for the dryers, right? We wanted to try to stay as big as we can, Danny.
Yeah. You probably want to get stack 45s.
Yep.
Again, you're gonna laugh because the distributors are gonna come in and they're gonna do the old 30-pound stacks across the wall and then 250s. It's like, why would you do 250s and 30s? Do all 45s. And that's something I started doing a very long time ago. And they do the same thing over and over because they do the same thing over and over. It doesn't make sense.
And it sounds almost hilarious that you're saying that, because that's the same conversation or the same words that are coming out of their mouth, at least 3 of them, distributors. The same thing that you're telling me, that's verbatim what they were saying.
We do it that way because we've always done it that way. Well, fuck, let's do something different and it'll probably work better. Boy, what are you going to advertise? Most dry capacity someone will come in and overstuff a washer, and that same individual will put 3 pairs of designer jeans in 3 dryers. They don't care about the wash. They're not worried about how agitated their clothes are going to get. But that's, somebody who money is not an object. And in New York, especially in the city, there's unique situations where you have people that have multi-million-dollar flats, but they don't have room for a washer dryer. So you find these folks with big fat Rolexes and Gucci purses in a laundromat, or their staff when it gets to be ridiculous. And at the end of the day, they understand that you want to spread out your dry capacity. So have bigger dry.
You got it.
And that's how many have you talked to already? How many have you brought in?
I have brought 4 of them already.
Nice. Good for you. I want to hear the funniest story of all that once you're done with your questions.
Okay, this second one is that with the contract attendance, because I have my the towel business, I'm just wondering, how do you see that working out, since I have that amount of towel that need to be done certain way and this and that and the other. So will that apply to that, or I will have to kind of have somebody on the books for that?
I would do it exactly the same way, so that you have a warm body in the store during business hours to keep the store clean, to service your customers. And because I want you to start with that process, and then I want you to report back to me how it works for you. You're already doing the towel business. So now that you have a facility for that, you might find that the contract attendant is something you don't need. You just want to tell one of your paid employees to go over and do the other thing. It may not make sense for you at all. I don't claim to be an expert in anything, nothing. So this is unique and different. So you tell me how it works, but it's not going to hurt you to put out a Craigslist ad. You should have already put up your nice printed bright orange help wanted signs with your cell phone number on them, and then start fielding the calls. And be realistic the minute that they call you. Hey, my name's Hender. I derive my profits from my towel business, my coin laundry, and I give away the wash, dry, fold. And leave it at that. But you use the word opportunity with most people and they hang up the phone. Or they want to interview well. They're going to tell you, oh, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. And like I said, if you do any hiring rounds at all, other than the help wanted, if you do a Craigslist ad, it costs you a few dollars. Craigslist is supposed to be free, but it's $5 or something of that nature. And when you do that, you've heard me say this, tell them to be there at noon. You don't show up till 1. If 5 people show up and 3 of them leave, great. They're not truly an entrepreneur if they're not looking to spend time in order to earn money.
So in other words, I will be her or his, or mostly her biggest client in a way. Look, this is, whatever amount of towels, and you got to do them and have them ready for me.
Well,
and
maybe
I'll pay you whatever it is, something along.
Maybe I misunderstand. Do you pay people now to do the towels? Do you have?
Right, because I go to another laundromat, and they do it for me.
Yeah.
So I just go drop off, let's say, 20 bags of dirty towels, and then they process it and then leave it.
Dude, your operation is about to change completely and explode. So now that you have a facility, I thought you hired, so you're hiring and you're farming that out. So you're right. You're becoming a built-in client for that individual. Be prepared to churn through them. Everybody interviews well. Very few of them are gonna end up being impeccable up to your standard. And don't, keep the warm body in the store. Stack the resumes, if you will. They could be handwritten. You're looking for somebody as a laundromat attendant. Don't put an 18-year-old kid in there, but you're looking for somebody that has some other form of income as well, if you know what I mean. nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And yes, I think that would be genius if you pay them X, but less than what you're paying now. So immediately
Of
you're
course.
pulling more profits. Yeah, make them that built-in customer. That's really nice because you're able to say, hey, I already have this booming business. Don't fuck it up. And at the same time, you become a built-in client. Yeah, that's genius.
Yeah, because that person is going to start making money right out of the gate. We might with me being the client or her biggest client per se.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just be prepared to churn through them. It's if you find somebody that's great up front and there's 98% perfection, then you're gold. It would surprise me, and that's what we're hoping for. Even in a paid,
and now in terms of the hours, I know. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Even in a paid situation, if you're looking to put a lawyer on your legal team and hire a new associate, and you're offering them $400 grand, and you're going to pay for an apartment and a car and a doorman, even then you end up with some chaff that needs to be, taken out in the alley. As far as hours, that's simple. You cannot set their hours in a legal contract situation. You can't set their hours. But if they're not showing up but an hour a day, it's not going to last because you need them to clean the store. And at first, open and closing, obviously, and that's ambiguous. You say, hey, we got to open early and close late, and have them keep an eye on customers begging to get in the morning when they show up and trying to stay late. It seems odd, but
now,
think about it.
That same person.
How are you going to find somebody to work for free is the common question. A lot of people buy a small business, know how to make a pizza, they understand how to throw a pie at home, and then they take their entire life savings and sink it into something. They sign a lease, they don't know what they're doing, and they tell themselves that they are a small business owner, and really they're losing. You're giving them everything they need to succeed, just asking for their time in return. And that's the way you have to think, and that's what you convey to them. Sorry.
Right. And now the other part is like, will that person be offered the same thing for the weekend, or that will be another person that will take care of the weekend, or
Great
how
question.
with the weekdays versus the weekend?
You are putting one entity into this spot. When I say entity, maybe it's a married couple, maybe it's a father-son or a mother-daughter, any combination. But you cannot put someone in there Monday through Friday and another contract attendant for the weekend. There's going to be infighting. You're never going to find the perfect fit, okay? Because someone's going to make more money during the week versus the weekend, or vice versa. I don't know which. I can't answer that. But you have to have one entity. Now you're thinking, again, well, maybe I should wait. You're thinking, who the hell am I going to find that's willing to work 7 days a week? They're out there. They are out there. And you need to remember that analogy. If you can find somebody whose family owned a string of food trucks, or I don't know why I pick on food, or worked on cars or whatever, a shade tree mechanic, IT professionals, these people work 10 hours a day, 7 days a week on their craft. You're just giving them the tools, not asking them for a dime for the consideration. What does it cost for a cab medallion these days? What is it, $500,000, $600,000, so that you can drive your car on the streets of New York? It's ridiculous. Forget about a hot dog stand or anything else. These people exist. You're a nice guy. You have to check a lot of the nice guy at the door and be very upfront and make them understand you are the entity that's going to run this place, and you're responsible. If you don't show up on a Tuesday, you're going to lose a bunch of money. Still have to open and close before we go 24/7. And the minute they don't, you sit on an apple cart and you say, this isn't working out. I've never fired anybody. Never. They normally leave on their own. You'll find a sticky note in the trash. Minimum wage is $14. I've spent 70 hours here this week. Look in the trash the way the banks do. You're not worth minimum wage. You're worth far, far more. This is the reality. You're not limiting what they can earn. Not at all.
Gotcha. Yep. So I understand. So I think it's clear to me that given my business and unique position, I want a lot of tonnage in the AC, a lot of tonnage in the washers, bigger, it's better. Same for the dryers. Don't go with the same layout that everybody proposed to you, which is the same for everybody. And
Yeah,
the attendance and the
it's
hours.
it's fun to watch these guys. I applaud you for having reached out. Question that I hear a lot: how did you find the distributors? What was the process? How did you start the process?
Well, asking first and foremost, I remember that a event we have in Miami, Florida. We had that event,
Orlando.
Orlando, and then I got a couple friends there. So I asked them, what's your distributor? Who do you use? Who do you use? That was one way. Another way was because I come in from the business of the plant. So then I had a couple people that I asked, and then they told me this guy, is in the business. This guy's in the business.
It's kind of like asking, you go on Facebook, God forbid, and say, hey, I'm about to buy a new pickup truck. Which brand should I go with? You're really looking for true recommendations from friends or acquaintances. And what you get is everybody telling you, I love Ford, or you better get a Dodge. And what you're trying to ask is, what's the best? None of those people know. You have to watch the weekend report in order to get the real answer. And so a lot of these guys are going to tell you, oh, I love this guy because he showed up, he bought me a slice of pizza, and he became my distributor. But you know that ahead of time. Some of these guys will rise to the top. Some will be really kind, and you're listening for the ones that tell you how you fail. You're listening for ones that say, hey, man, I could try to sell you a bunch of inexpensive equipment in here, and then in 6 months or 6 years, you're going to have to replace it. So this is what I want to do. You know that.
And it's interesting how they use the selling techniques.
Yeah. What? Next question.
Next question related to the distributor is, do you have any intel in terms of here in New York for any distributors, or any suggestion that you will think?
I do, but I have certain rules that I live by, right? I still don't wear my hat when I eat because it was drilled into me in the Navy. And I also won't provide for the same reason. Hey, I think you should go with John Cucumber because he's such a great guy. You need to figure this out on your own. You need to have the conversations. John Cucumber and his family might have gone sideways for all I know. So in reality, this is something you have to do. The recommendation wouldn't matter even coming from me. Even when I have people that open stores here in Arizona, my stomping grounds, or New Mexico or California, I don't talk about any of that because you need to find out for yourself. You're bringing them to your store now. It's a different world. Instead of calling them and saying, hey, I might maybe someday do a laundry. You're saying, here's my store, silly. Tell me what you can wedge in there. And that's it. You don't want to go nuts, or even maybe tell them, I mean, you have the towel business, and that's important. You're going to build it as a plant. Like you heard the guy, split it down the middle. Oh, fuck, like that doesn't make any sense. So the recommendation is to make sure you get them all there. That's just about it. The cream will rise to the top. The prices are all the same. They should be. So, funny stories. Did they all show up when you reached out? Because normally they don't.
Well, they didn't show up. I tried to schedule them for the same time, but they didn't. But it's so funny that one of the story I hear a lot is the guy saying, I want to be honest with you. I want to be transparent with you, and I want to tell you the truth. And the more he says that, the more I see him with different eyes. It's like, dude, we only know each other for 5 minutes. It's like,
So I don't want to lie to you. Well,
yeah, right.
Then don't. Then don't.
So it kind of makes me think, like, have you lied to other people or have that kind of negative impression in my brain?
It's also the force of habit. These guys are lifelong salesmen. Somebody asked me probably 6-8 months ago. It's uncommon for me to hear a question that I haven't heard. Having 700 YouTube videos, and this question was, hey, it was a video that was very distributor centric, and someone asked, hey, it sounds like there's a gap in the market. I think I'm going to go out and become a laundry distributor. I'll be the right guy at the right time and blah, blah. And instantly, I thought that's really intriguing. That's a great question, because I got to typing and my answer was, you can't. Every distributor is redheaded with glasses. What do I mean? They're all family businesses. They're all the same. They're third generation salespeople, and you truly can't crack the nut. Ask anybody who's built a number of stores. We all know the characters, and it's the distributor whose granddad did it. You're dealing with the grandson, and ask them the same questions. Why don't you run laundromats? That's the one where you get the stutters. Oh, you're commenting on YouTube. Look at you. That's why I lost you.
I'm here, and I'm here to stay.
Hender's in the comments. So that's the funny story. That's it. That's all I get, that they're over there saying, I don't want to lie to you. The standard salesman response. Let me tell you the truth.
Right.
So who's ahead of the game thus far? How many are you couldn't get any of them to show up at the same time? That's kind of hard to schedule them sometimes. You got to stick to your guns. Say, I absolutely positively am a busy guy. I can't be there until Tuesday at 4. But that didn't work.
Yeah, no, that didn't work. So they haven't gotten into pricing yet, but
Okay.
One guy is like, I have to tell you the prices in person and got to show you in person, everything. I was like, look, what's the difference between you tell me on the phone or in person? Is the price going to change, or is it so high that I need to be in person just to make sure you revive me when I get a heart attack for the high price you're going to give me?
That's just the old salesman, dude. That's like these landlords that tell me they don't want to talk on the phone. And what you have to do, and I don't hear you asking, but what you have to do is put them on notice that your time's valuable. Just let them know. But the reason he's doing it, it's the old sales tactic. He wants to see if you're right, if he has to bring out the paddles and revive you. You're correct. He wants to be able to instantly say, wow, that $100,000 is just the starting point. Really weird, but telling, isn't it? You give them enough rope to hang themselves or build a hammock. I love it. Yeah, we're in how many?
And I think one of the biggest thing is that they think, or they assume, or they make the assumption that I'm kind of flying solo in this venture, and they don't understand that I have a black wolf on my team.
That's a mixed
advising
metaphor.
Me.
I think I'm a gray shark, or that's funny. I don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah, you have to gather. It gets frustrating because you have to gather the quotes. A couple of them will never get back to you because they don't have the bandwidth to build another store, and that's kind of sad. Do you really want them doing it? No. It's like anything. A lot of folks make the mistake. They're going to put a pool in their yard, so they call one pool company. They like the guy that showed up because they're from the same hometown, and then they lose 30 or 40 or 80 grand in the deal because they didn't shop around and find somebody who's better.
Right, but I also imagine doing this alone, you know what I mean? It would be just 10 times harder and worse because I will make, mistakes that will cost me a lot of money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So better to invest in the beginning into having a coach
well, thanks.
versus trying to,
You're always towing the company line. I'm not a coach. I'm with you. I get very frustrated because I'm so passionate about this. And I talked about this earlier. I get emails all the time where people say, hey, I just want to talk to you, or I just want a couple questions answered. And I understand the urgency where they want to get on the telephone with me and they want to have a conversation. They can go on my live YouTubes and they can ask questions. That's fine. They can put the questions in the comments. If it's not just somebody calling me a dickhead, I respond to those questions and I answer them in toto. But if it comes down to, I just want to talk to you for a minute, that's just not realistic because there's so many questions that get answered in the course. And that's the reality. Like, I want you to see it. Everybody wants to be Tom Cruise, shooting down MiGs and flying a fighter jet, but you have to learn not only prop planes, but you have to learn to crawl first. You have to learn to read the language. And maybe you see the course and you say, you know, this isn't right for me. It's too much work, not enough money, too much money, which that's a problem. You'll see. So I always appreciate your saying that, but I'm not into the whole sales speech. You know, this shit speaks for itself. Dude, we were in Orlando on that live 4 months ago. 4 months ago. Mm-hmm. And here you are. And a lot of my clients, even you, there were times when it gets frustrating and it's like, hey, man, we're going to wait. Waiting is the hardest part. Sent the LOI, we do nothing. A week goes, 2 weeks go by and people say, well, the LOI expired today. So, just another day. The expiration date is meaningless. And you understand, I'm in flux with people that are doing this on the daily. Not everybody is kind enough to jump on YouTube. Not everybody's entertaining like you are either. And I'm not saying you're juggling anything, but I appreciate you more than you know. We're not going anywhere. We're going to go through this whole process. Shelly and I are going to come to New York. We're going to see you, hang out, and buy you a Smith & Walensky steak.
That makes sense. And two things before we go into the nest, or you go into the nest, is that one, that if whoever is watching or listening, eventually, if you stick to the program and to the strategy of the system that you have developed patiently, the results will come. From what I met you from November to now. Okay, it could take 1 month, it could take a year. I don't know how long it will take, but if you stick to the plan, that's what I'm really saying. And you're patient enough and you trust the system that has been proven to work, the results will come. That's one. And two, that when you say you're not going anywhere, this is just a testament of that. I made my payment last week. You did what you said you were going to do. I did what I said I was going to do, which was to pay you. You did. You got me a laundromat, a free laundromat, as a matter of fact. Transaction completed, right? We should shake hands or say goodbye and see you when I see you. See you never. No. And yet again, you didn't hear with me another hour, 1 hour, telling me what to do, doing all these things. We're going to see each other in November in Vegas, and now you're going to come here. So it's you're not going anywhere. That's what I'm really saying.
And I can be the devil's advocate and say that we're on YouTube talking about this, but this is what I do with everybody. You Google my name, you look for negative results. I don't need to do this for money, but I don't want to exit this industry. I am fueled by utter hatred for all the motherfuckers out there that continue to prey on people like you. The preponderance of my clients first try to buy a laundromat, and then they just say something doesn't pass the smell test here. And very few of my clients find me first. They go through that process, and there's a stopping point when they say, wait a minute, how do they know what this place is going to make? How can they understand that this equipment mix is right? How do they know that once I buy this business, I'm going to end up with a proper and commensurate long-term lease? They don't. I should make more playlists on YouTube, but I just spoke to, I'm about to call Joe here in a minute. The guy's banking millions of dollars, millions of real cash dollars. And it's not thanks to me. I'm just here to do the small thing. I just open the door and show you the way. By the way, what am I going to do? You have my real cell phone number, and I do that purposefully. If you text me, I never look at my phone and say, oh, I'm at the beach. I revel in that. Because it's Hinder. Hey, man, what's up? I'm a little drunk, but watching Shelly in a bikini, what do you need? Why wouldn't you? The compartmentalizing, to you, it's important. When I have a client that someone tried to break into their ATM machine over Christmas vacation, over Christmas break, hey, what's up? Or I saw you on Facebook that you're all down in the dumps because somebody pooped in your machine. It's part of doing business. Understand the psychology of this. You need to let it go. You're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation with people running out the door with Sixers, Walmart, 7-Eleven. Let them go. It's not worth your life. In the same way, you need to let your feelings go. And that's, here we are talking about feelings, and I appreciate you. It's not a love fest. You're going to get that store done, revamped, and hopefully we'll go after another one or 2 or 10. That's where the real money is.
That's right.
All right. Don't be a stranger. If you text me something short and sweet, I'll write you back. I'm sure we'll have another conversation soon. I'm excited to start. And when you get the quotes, just email them to me when they're all compiled and I'll look.
You got it, Donnie.
You are the man. Go beat your kids.
Love you, brother.
Love you. And that's the truth of it. Guys, we'll get to questions here in a minute. Let's find out if, and now's your chance to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's call our friend Joe. He's a little funny because he doesn't want his bosses to know he's triple dipping with his laundromats, but there, I just outed him. Nobody cares. Sometimes the clients don't want to talk. Speaking of which, it's Danny D'Angelo on the phone, you rotten mother pusser. Ring me jerky. All right, let's get to you louts and see what's what. I've been spying the top chat. How do you change it to live chat? What the hell? All right, hopefully there's some people we can lambast in here. If you are commenting, I always appreciate if you give me your real name. If your name on the YouTube machine is Fuzzy Monkey 37, I'd like to know who I'm dealing with. You have no anonymity here. Jalyn Witt just finished your course, Putting Cash Aside for Consultation and Scouting Now. Thank you. Thank you for your faith in me. Thank you for grabbing up the course content. Since this is the first comment and we've been doing this for about an hour, you can jump in with more questions if you have them, especially. And my goal, I started to say this, I think, earlier. My goal was always, because of the person that I am, because of the skeptic that I am, my goal was to build this thing and build upon it. And I've been doing that and bringing folks like Hender and Joe and bringing your information together. We got a guy like Peter Mayberry who now has his own channel. He's a friend. Go follow. He does YouTube because he's bored, because he's earning literally millions of dollars in laundromats. Found me in 2014 and got a silly DVD. Not selling anything. Andre says, "Hey, Danny H." Hi. Jalene, what's the cost of consultation after paying? If she wrote that, I would delete it. Let me explain. My prices are nobody's business, and it's very little. You get my cell phone number for life. But this video is also evergreen. So understand what I'm trying to say. I'm talking to you about marketing and the value of what I do. My pricing is set up for single moms and truck drivers. You're not going to take out a second fucking mortgage on your house to get on the telephone with me. But what I charge today might change tomorrow. Things change. You can complain if gas is $5, but you have a choice. Don't drive. I can remember when I graduated high school, it was 99 cents a gallon. Yeah, I'm old. But honestly, don't jump into my comment section and start asking what I charge, because a year from now, maybe that's written in the comments and it's changed and people will get pissed. Oh, how dare you? An SUV is $130,000 today. That's what they cost. I hope that makes sense. I'm happy to give full and total answers. Jack says, hey guys. Okay, lots of people saying hey guys. Danny, going on deployment soon. Hoo-yah. Yeah, hell yeah. Navy, can't wait to put the content of the course into action. I remember deployments, and let me say this, good for you, because rather than getting married or buying a motorcycle, if you haven't done both, focus on filling your mind not with video games and comic books, but with knowledge about business. It's kind of like prisoners. Everybody's got, I'm going to get out in 6 years, and when I do, I'm going to finally become a limo driver. Okay. Navy's just like the prison. Same shit. Can't do what you want. Somebody said, I need 5 stores this time next year. Well, let's do it. Honest question, Jack. What have you done thus far? Did you start? John says, be safe. Absolutely, Swabby. Take care of yourself, bro. Alvarado is talking to Hender. Hello. Everybody's talking amongst themselves. You guys do that a lot. I do these live. I do these without a net. I don't have a script. I never know even if people are going to answer the phone, but I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. It's not the end of this. We're still doing comments, and you have time now to ask your questions of me, however kind or harsh they may be. Thank you for your cervix. Yeah, I enjoyed it. When you look back, you always enjoy it, but when you're in it, it can have some moments, I'll tell you that. Hopefully it'll be my last. I'm an engineer. Good man. What's a rating? Oh, what rating he's asking. We all talked about that. Blah, blah, blah. Danny, my job had something in common. We didn't want it to end with a bang. Yeah, there you go. Nuke. Yeah, I started as a missile tech, then went EOD. Mexicans and Mopar, Danny. Ah, yeah. Lol, lol, lol. Janky. Lousy personalities. I know. Boring people. Are you mistaking lousy for indifferent? There you go. Most of them are boring. They were always... Okay, what are we talking about here? The Navy or laundromats? Funny joke about shooting your mouth off. Blah, blah, blah. Explains why these landlords hate Danny. Why? Because I'm boring. Landlords hate Danny because he talks them out of money. No, I don't. They love me, landlords. We just heard from Hendry, whose landlord loves all of us. Y'all ever miss the crunchy rice? Oh, please. Hamburger Wednesdays. Actually, lots of landlords love Danny. He makes their properties better. Thank you, John. Got to give him a chance to grow on them. Yes, true. I think that was about the comments. I'm from Texas, Hender. Happy for you. Glad we both found Danny. So am I, boys. What a love fest. Hey, Danny, just to make sure I heard you right, you don't advise having 20 and 30-pound washers, have 40-pound minimum. I'm not saying that. I was talking about what Hender needs to do, especially in New York. It's different. But you don't need top loaders. You don't need HE machines. No need for those. Absolutely not. John says Peter has a couple 120-pounders. Yes, he does. Peter wishes he weighed 120 pounds. Wait a minute. Who said that? Have you ever heard of a laundromat that's owned by a nonprofit and free for the public to use? Interested in a laundromat a block away from me. I'm not sure if it's worth pursuing if a free one is a block away. I have heard of that, Patrick, and only being run through churches. So send me an email. Let me know what that's all about. It's danny@freelaundromat.com. Found one in Charlotte for $175,000. I assume you mean a laundromat. They wanted me to sign before they told me the address. No, thank you. So Jack, what he's talking about, folks, is a non-disclosure agreement. So stop looking for laundromats for sale. You'll find them. If you find other gurus on YouTube and they say, I'm here to educate you, click on their website, see what they do. It's not difficult. When you click on my website, freelaundromat.com, you'll see I want you to get educated. There's no pushy sales tactics. My newsletter is free. See what they do. Do they sell laundromats? When you sign a non-disclosure because you're interested in buying that laundromat, whatever the price, they give you one thing, the address. So if you live in Charlotte or New York or Los Angeles or Gibraltar or France, what's stopping you from walking into that nasty, filthy laundromat and then calling the landlord? Nothing. If you're at your horrible job and you're filling out your TPS reports and you're bored and you start looking for laundromats for sale, great. Take a mental image, take a screen cap, and then go out and scout every store in town with your eyes peeled, because you'll find that store. You might recognize it from the photos, but it doesn't matter. The fact that it's for sale is just another indication of failure. A lot of you are bored because you have the course, and I'm repeating what I'm teaching in the course. It's a horrible, disgusting circle of bullshit. Sign this non-disclosure stating that you will only buy the laundromat from me, the broker, and you won't end run me or talk to the operator or his attendants, because we don't want them to know he's selling it, because they'll jump ship like rats, even though they're being paid under the table illegally. And when you sign the NDA, you don't get any special figures or a key to the city. You get the address. These places are open to the public. There's nothing stopping you from walking into that laundromat. Don't be in a hurry. Speed kills. If you're worried about finding that laundromat, don't. Because every store in your community, your city, your state is there, existing for you to look at. So don't deal with the brokers. Sorry, not sorry at all. Gobble. Name is Gil. Thank you, Gil. Gil is following the rules. Gobi Tech is my company. Good for you. Is the rate you charge for a wash-dry cycle and wash-dry fold based on competition's prices in the area or overall cash flow and expenses? The former. You're going to look at what everyone is charging, and it's not hard, and you're going to charge less until you get the folks in. This is a business, even though most operators still today, 2023, most operators act like they have no choice. It is a laundry, but it's not a prison. It's certainly not a prison laundry. These people have a choice. They're free to go, and they're free to go to your store. So drag them in. Am I interested in wash, dry, fold profits? No. Do Luke and Lee Williford care? No, they don't have wash, dry, fold, or pickup and delivery. It's a different business. That's why Hender and I were talking about contract attendance. So what you charge is going to be based on the other folks, and then you're going to tick it up. Give them a little taste to crack. The first one is free. I'm Jack, and I'm in the shop. Thank you, Jack. Makes sense. I would have called you Jack anyway. Your number isn't Harry Monkey 7. Tyler, 2 questions, Danny. What's your favorite watch you own? Dream watch. Oh, God. Do you ever buy laundromat buildings as well to own the real estate, or just the free? Tyler, I'm not going to talk about watches. I will talk about the watch that I'm wearing, because there's a fun story. Folks don't know that you can't get stainless steel sports Rolex watches. You simply can't walk into a dealer and buy them. Sorry, kids. This will not focus. And now we're going off track a little bit, but that's okay. Just something I'm passionate about. And we could get into the whole note section about how silly it is to have something like that. This is 1997 GMT, tells time in 2 time zones. Quick story, promise a quick story. I got into watches because my dad had a gold Rolex for about 10 minutes. And he asked me if I thought it was real. I had no idea. prior to my Navy days, and I was a schmuck. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was into watches, and my dad thought I knew. He traded a gold chain for this gold Rolex. And I said, I don't think it's real. Next day, he had traded back to his buddy Tony. Should have kept in mind that his buddy Tony was an in-home nurse. So Tony had access through sticky fingers to a gold Rolex. Well, my dad was happy. He traded him back for his what he knew was a solid gold chain. And my dad said, Tony gave that watch to a pawn shop and got $5,000. Shit. Now, I tell myself that that might have been my watch later after my dad passed a few years ago. But my dad probably would have sold it. So I got to tell myself that. This little fella, story for another time. Car Wash Chronicles is a friend, and we're going to be dropping a short here pretty quick as well. Just went out and visited him, and I got to meet the George Lazenby, the second James Bond ever. It's a very small fraternity, and we were having a phenomenal time at dinner. George invited us back to his house. It was really exciting. He was a total and complete womanizer, just like Bond is. Didn't inappropriately touch Shelley or anything, but he was all over, and he was with the comments, and it was great. He's trying to steal her away from me. It was really, really special to meet that gentleman, and thank you, Chris. And I said, are you into watches at all? He rolls up his sleeve. He hands me his 2019 Omega Seamaster James Bond edition that he's wearing on his wrist and says, yeah, Omega gave that to me, in his Australian accent. Another story. I can't even sleep. I keep thinking about it. Don't get me started on watches. I'm passionate about many, many things. My passion for laundries is to be certain that you guys don't get destroyed by it. It's easy to buy Rolexes if you have the money and you have a relationship, but the old pieces and the stuff that means something to you is very, very different. Oh, God. Peter Mayberry's here, so he's coming up. Been on here for a while. What's your favorite watch? And own the real estate. Yes, it's a phenomenal idea to own real estate, and I have some standard lines, and it's this. Yes, I built quite a real estate empire over the years. If you're buying a building that has a laundromat in it, great. Don't pay for the laundromat. Peter does this. Pay what is at or below bank appraised value for the building. If it had a nail salon in it, would you give a shit? Not unless you have 47 nieces and nephews that want to work there all day. So just because you're into laundries, don't be laundry centric, and don't make an offer above the value of the dirt. That's my rule of thumb, and it's a good rule to live by. If it was a Starbucks, are you going to give them more money because there was a Starbucks there? No, it's a national chain. It's not going to help you. You mentioned your contract employees makes money based on the wash, dry, fold service, and they not log tickets like you mentioned. No, wrong. They can't do that to you when they are contract employees. They do that to other silly fuckers who pay them by the hour or in some other way. That's why we do not do that. I hope that makes sense. Spent Saturday, says John, scouting 5 stores. Nothing that was bad enough. You're doing it wrong, John. Stop using the internet to scout. Jack says truck drivers make a lot of money. They can. Sitting there in that truck, watching the white line fever going crazy. No, thank you. Just not my thing. Trading your time for miles, not my thing. Peter says, just got on. What did I miss? Nothing, fucker. Call me later. Gobold, that's understandable. I didn't think about the public aspect of the comment. What does the bracelet and shirt say? We'll do it live. We'll do it live! People that know. As far as laundromats go, Laundromats with an O. What are your thoughts on a lottery system that allows members to gain access to the laundromat after hours? No. Be 24/7. Leave the doors open. Alec retracted his message. Good, Alec. I hope it was horrible. Or like a key fob. Dude, you're trying to create a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. All right? You don't want people having access when you're not open. and you don't want silly methodology to lock the doors or a system that charges you. Any scumbag is going to put a tin can in there, and the door's not going to lock. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. And I assume that's to Hender. And yes, Hender, love you so much. So you're saying you contract out the wash dry fold service entirely. You cannot get screwed. Eliminate the ability for these folks to steal from you. Simple. I figured out a very, very long time ago. Human people are going to take the money. I have lots of those stories. Danny, I scouted by driving all day. Okay, good. I've never, ever, ever had someone truly live in an area anywhere where there aren't plenty of stores ripe for takeover. Bigger is better, says Hender. Hender's still on there. Just got on the list for an Oyster Flex Yacht Master. Dude, you were supposed to wait until I got there to do that. That list is bullshit. They are never going to call you. You need to go in there and buy something that is not a desirable piece or some jewelry. Buy something for your daughter because you don't have a girlfriend.
Joe
Oh,
claimed.
it's Joe. What do you want?
What's up, dude?
Just living the life of Riley. Do you know what that's from?
No, I don't, but it's familiar.
I'm disappointed. All right, what's the story?
Sorry.
What do you need from me?
So I made contact with a landlord. Her number is on the building. Called to verify, and she said she was the leasing agent. And she asked me, who I was and what was going on. So I didn't want to get deep into the conversation, but at the same time, I didn't want to sound like a complete idiot. So I did ask her, I let her know that I'm in laundromat business and asked her what her ask was. But I didn't get into abatement or, negotiating over the rate. I figured I'd leave that to you. It's a good little store, or not a good little store. It's a good big store. There's a lot of competition in the area, which is, that's just the way LA is. There's going to be competition everywhere. But this one is at a good intersections, two busy streets. It's got its own dedicated parking lot, and it's in decent shape. Like the facade of the building and everything, it's inviting. So basically, I just need to get her to a reasonable rate and see how much abatement they'll kick in, and that's it. It's got old Dexter equipment.
Well, look, you don't need to sell me on the location, and you know what the hell you're looking at. So let's pretend like we're on YouTube live right now, and tell the folks what the history is.
Everybody.
Everybody. How many stores do you have? When are you going to quit your job so that you can finally go public? Never.
Soon.
Oh my God! You heard it here first.
We're on the precipice. Currently, I have 3 operating and 1 that we just ordered equipment on. So you heard it here first. Number 4 is in the works. So we now need to.
Why would you ever? And what people don't know is Joe probably one of the most intelligent people. Well, certainly one of the most intelligent people that I know. And Jesus,
Second most intelligent person on this call.
Okay. When you found me how long ago? This is back DVD days, obviously.
God, a decade ago.
Yeah.
Or so, 10 years ago.
And I want to talk about, so you got the silly DVD. I negotiated your first lease for you, and you keep coming back to the trough. But the point is, you're one of the guys, and there's a lot of people like this that are fearful, if it's the right word, to go sort of show your mug and talk about your real name. I don't do the whole Joe K for cucumber on any of my platforms because I just think it's disingenuous. And I'm always making content for the newbie. I want somebody to see it and say, okay, now I'm going to, if it's my 701st video, I want something. I'm explaining my marketing theory, right? And what I'm selling is not unicorn farts. It's information that people need, and I want them to have it, and you get that. And
Yes, sir.
if I say, Joe K, it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of disingenuous. And I don't find that, especially in today's universe with Twitter and everything else. The Fonz does not tweet, by the way. I find it disingenuous. So, but I do have a lot of people that are doing very, very well, and they simply they're fearful that if they go on YouTube, their grandma's going to see it or their 7 ex-wives. And I can understand that, and I respect it. I've told you before, nobody gives a shit. No, the internet is so vast. I don't know the numbers, but my God, YouTube, there's a billion seconds uploaded every half second. It's utterly ridiculous how everybody's trying to YouTube. You'll get there, you'll do it. But if I were you, I'd never quit. I mean, you got a good job and you get the benefits. But I don't know. I guess at some point you can answer this. When does it become overbearing? You're like, I just can't continue to phone in this work that I do, and I feel guilty. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not so much the guilt, but I will tell you that the tipping point is just about here, and it's in that I need time, not so much to operate the business. I have employees, quote unquote employees, to do that. But I need more time to scout, more time to talk with you, more time to work on the marketing strategy. Plus, I have a related venture that I'm cooking up that we can talk about some other time.
Okay.
I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, exciting. Well, I'm just
that kind of stuff.
I'm just selfish, and you know that I want to see your face all over the channel. And I visited your store once, and one of your stores, and you weren't there, for God's sake. So when you try to surprise somebody, it doesn't always work.
You're gonna have a real tough time finding me in one of my stores.
Yeah, I know
Good luck with that.
That's for sure. All right. Well, listen. To speak to the cheap seats, I implore people, if that's the operative word, if you're going to bring me in on the process, if you want me to speak and communicate to a landlord on your behalf, and you already have seen the course, and we're going to consult, you're going to send me an email, you can do that now. The next step would be hiring me. For the love of God, don't muck it up. And I don't think even an intelligent guy like Joe, who's already got 4 stores, who already understands what it takes, he knows the verbiage, but it's the zig, it's not the zag. When they say something, you have to be prepped. And what you already told me in that brief description, you didn't go into a lot of the detail that needs to be there. You asked her what her ask is, and that's fine. But almost immediately while that iron is hot, you need to tell her not why she's wrong, but why you want to pay less and how it relates to the laundry. So I hear you saying, great, bring me on board. You haven't seen my fee structure. We talked about that a little earlier here too on this call, if you rewind and listen to it. So you're paying. I'm going to send you a thing about it, and just take out the card, pay the money, and then you're going to send me the information, and we'll get on board. I want to make it happen. We'll call her tomorrow. What's today?
Today is Wednesday.
Good. All right. You don't have to say yes, but you know what to do. What else? How's life?
All right. Life's good. Life's good. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Nobody's listening. New house, laundromat number 5 in the works. All right, silly. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah. So that's Joe. We didn't get into numbers, but working on free store number 5. Glad he called back. Something funny happened in the comments where somebody said that I'm rude ×2. And when you look at the live chat, he retracted his message after I said, fuck off. Weird. All right. I'm going to have a cocktail. Appreciate you guys. These lives are fun, and I appreciate you being on board. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I never know when I am going live, so be selfish. A lot of people ask you to subscribe. Go find 5 other YouTube channels that you already sub to and delete them. and sub to me. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss this. Open up all the things. Be selfish like me. It's okay. Deadly sins are fine. Follow us along. I'm going to be another 30 seconds. Anybody buys the course right now, some couple people did during this live, not you. Somebody buys it right now, and I'm going to consult with you for free on my telephone. You have 30 seconds. 29, 28. Got to be on this call. What else was I saying? Oh, sub to the channel. It's free. Don't miss the lives. Give it the thumbs up. We have a lot of fun here, but really it's about the basic needs. Own the business. Until you do, no matter how much you earn, you are giving someone else money. There's no shame in a salt of the earth job. Truck drivers, we talked about. No shame in it. If you have a 168 IQ, it's difficult to get up in the morning when you're watching the white line go by. That's been 30 seconds. I have no call to action for any of you. Own the company. My plan? Laundromats. Peter's out there buying a Rolex just to try to get to the good one. Life is good. Talk to you. Ciao. Nobody wins.